With things heating up in the South China Sea, I figured this would be a good time to review the past 6 months worth of activities in the South China Sea. This is not a exhaustive list, but just notable mentions. The U.S. Navy executed its second freedom of navigation operation of the year in the Spratly Islands, challenging China's excessive maritime claims. This follows one earlier in 2025 and aimed to uphold international navigation rights amid rising tensions. Reports highlighted escalating clashes at reefs and sandbars, with Chinese Coast Guard ships using water cannons and blockading maneuvers against Philippine resupply missions at the Second Thomas Shoal. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty was invoked in discussions. July 1st. Following near collisions that risked triggering the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, China and the Philippines agreed to a temporary arrangement to reduce tensions around the Scarborough Shoal. This came after aggressive gray zone tactics by Chinese forces. August 1st through the 4th. Philippine and Indian navies conducted their first maritime cooperative activity in the South China Sea, involving warships and patrols to enhance inoperability and counter regional assertiveness. August 7th through the 11th. The People's Liberation Army, Navy, and Coast Guard ramped up patrols in the South China Sea to counter Philippine joint exercises with non-regional partners like India and Australia. These included live fire drills and surveillance operations. August 11th. China, while pursuing a Philippine Coast Guard cutter, a Chinese Type 052D destroyer accidentally rammed a Chinese Coast Guard ship, heavily damaging the latter. Philippine forces blamed the aggressive maneuvers. Analysts call it overkill escalation. August 13th. U.S. Navy ships, including the USS Higgins, sailed near the disputed shoal days after the Chinese collision, marking the third freedom of navigation operation of 2025. China condemned it as a sovereignty threat. August 15th through the 29th. The largest ever Australian military drills with the Philippines involved over 3,600 personnel in air, naval, and amphibious and live fire operations near the South China Sea, including a beach assault to bolster deterrence. During a summit, the Australian PM protested a Chinese military aircraft releasing flares near a Royal Australian Air Force patrol plane, calling it unsafe amid heightened patrols. September 4th. PLA Navy vessels, including a destroyer, shadowed a multilateral maritime cooperative activity involving the U.S., Philippines, Australia, and Canadian forces, escalating shadowing tactics. September 14th. China's PLA Southern Command Theater issued a stern warning to cease provocations and alliances with external forces like the United States, following joint patrols near the Scarborough Shoal. September 16th. The Philippines accused China of ramping up sea aggression after the August collision, including more blockades and water cannon use against fishing vessels in the disputed areas. September 18th. Amid lingering tensions, the UK signaled intent for a military access agreement with the Philippines to enhance joint training and deterrence against Chinese actions. September 22nd. Vietnam quietly built up features in the Spratlys as part of a gray zone countermeasure, maintaining an opacity initiative, quote, with China to avoid public escalations while handling clashes diplomatically. October 13th. 2 Philippine fishing boats were hit with water cannons near the Scarborough Shoal during a standoff, prompting the Philippines to threaten international legal action against Beijing's aggression. October 27th. A Seahawk helicopter and an F-18E Super Hornet fighter from the USS Nimitz crashed separately within 30 minutes during operations. All 5 crew members were rescued safely. China did offer assistance, but speculation arose over potential, quote, bad fuel Or was it regional tensions? President Trump was in flight to Japan over the South China Sea at the time that the two aircraft splashed down. On the same day, Beijing's foreign minister accused the Philippines of deliberate provocations as the root of the ongoing maritime disputes, urging cessations of infringements while advancing code of conduct talks. October 28th. In response to continuous Chinese aggression, U.S. Marines prepare satellite guided rocket launches from HIMARS systems. They are supposed to be launched within the next few days towards the disputed shoal, signaling deterrence amid a planned Trump Xi summit. U.S. President Donald Trump is scheduled to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping tomorrow, October 30th, 2025, on the sidelines at the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. The bilateral talks are set for Thursday morning, approximately 11 a.m. local time. With all that is going on in the South China Sea, I guess we will see what the next few days and weeks and months bring. But there seems to be a pattern of continual escalation throughout the region. This concludes today's communique.